The Suda?
In 2 weeks when my parents come.
Very nice.
You want to
I
come
think the
out?
Kafach Chaim. But which one of the Svati Paiskim says you should make a Suda? One of them. Kafach Chaim?
About what?
No, to make
About
a bas mitzvah, to make a meal to make a Suda for bas mitzvah.
We're going to.
I mean, I didn't do any of my kids, but I didn't make my kids a bar mitzvah either. So
There you go.
It's Yaakov.
yeah.
You see the report today with the guy that had a transplant with a pig heart?
No, I did not.
3
I
days.
get all my news from here.
So that's the news. There's a
I saw it.
successful
Was the guy
transplant of
Jewish?
somebody's pig heart.
I saw that. Was the guy Jewish?
I have no idea. I don't know. It didn't say. It wasn't reported on Us is Nice. It was reported on AP.
Well, that's pretty.
One second.
Can you
Akiva,
really
there's other
trust it,
news
then?
sites besides Versus Nias?
There are real news sites, yes.
I'm saying, can you trust it? If it's not on Versus Knives or the yeshiva world, is it really worth
Who's
it?
had-
Worth its salt?
Whose hashgacha was that hard?
Yeah.
So hard, and it's so.
It wasn't the VOD, I'll tell you that much.
Okay.
What would be wrong with having a pig heart? What should be wrong?
I don't know. I don't know. It's a built-in Timtum Alev, no?
Can we talk a lot of use a pig's heart valve like that? Yeah.
They've been using pig's heart valves for many years. It's the actual heart they're using now.
It's now. I don't know. Is there a way to have? If it's not possible, chalav, it's just pig. So what's the problem? But you're right. Timtum alev, literally, right?
Right.
That's
I
it.
guess better to have a lave than no lave at all, right?
Right.
Better
It's
have
like
a lave than no lave at all.
the guy who agreed to the surgery basically was not, he couldn't qualify for a heart transplant. So this was the only other option.
Well, this is the
Wow.
next best thing, no?
Could you imagine if this works?
Yeah, it would save tons of people's lives.
Well, so far it's kept him alive for 3 days.
That's better than what they've done in the past.
Yep.
3 days more than he thought he had.
Yaakov, did Ramesh ever deal with like the heart valve? Did he ever like pass on heart valves? Was he able to use
Well,
pig's
heart, right? Heart valves. They've been using pigs for who knows how long.
Right. So I'm asking,
Yeah.
was that ever a shiloh brought to Ramesh or something like that?
Jacob, I didn't know your father left you such a Yerusha.
Of what?
Look behind you.
I'm in Bayswater in the shul.
I'm saying, look behind you.
I know. I got the wine. Anybody want? I can rip off some bottles if the island needs. Just let me know. I don't have a coat here, so I can only fit a few under my jacket. One of the fellows here.
You wore a frock, you could take more.
Anyone's going to be there when the daf's over?
Yeah, they have like a shtickle night seder here. So, yeah, it's Nissim's wine, parrots. Yeah.
He has sales every so often.
Whose wine is it?
Nissan.
Nissim, what's his last name?
Isaacson.
Isaacson, yeah, in Bayswater.
You know he's from Oklahoma?
Huh?
He's from Oklahoma.
Is that so?
Early, you got 2 people there. Very nice.
I'm not from Oklahoma. I've never been. I plan on going.
Look
I
at
plan on
Curly.
driving right through it.
You know, like a little cousins get together, parents over there.
What do you mean? Punjab from the original.
Yeah.
Alvin.
You know we're not on today's daf yet.
Oh, that's right. I was telling you. Yeah.
We're not on
Get
yesterday's either. We
away.
didn't
We have
start.
a half of Amud. We have a half of Amud coming.
You know what's
Get
bad?
away.
Not
when
on
the
yesterday's
colleague-
either. We didn't start.
No, we're almost done the Amud, parrots. Okay, let's go. Yeah. Where'd we leave off? Chav Chesam Beis.
Halfway down. The big lines.
Oh, Maspid Ben has Rabbim, right?
Yep.
Right. Okay. Good. So you're allowed to say a hesped of Rabbim in the shul, meaning in the shul that's even destroyed. And we said hesped the Rabbim means a hesped where the Rabbim comes.
Is that in Yonah Diyama from today? It's Yaakov.
Why? From because of why? Because of Ravitz and Kamenetsky?
Yeah, they did it in the Beis Hamikdash.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Wow. But they brought the Aron into the Beis Hamikdash too? They brought the Aron in the Beis Hamikdash too? Yeah, did they?
Yes.
Wow. Interesting. Okay, it's Mamish in Yon.
Wait a minute, aren't they allowed to
It's
go?
Mamish in Yon, the Yom.
You're allowed to
Yeah,
do
it's just
all-
Why?
over,
Philly's
yeah.
not a chorva yet.
Gershon said yet. Terrible.
Gershon, don't you
Yeah,
live in a city
B'chayra-
that Taka has a base measures like that?
What do you mean?
Have you seen tells?
Hey, let's not go down there. Very good at you. This is Midwest politics. Okay.
Aaron,
Okay, so-
these out of town people are so nasty. It's unbelievable.
Gefährlich. Antisemiten.
Yeah. Anyway, Ataka, no, but they probably built it on a Tanai anyways, like we said yesterday, right? If you allow talking in the Beis Hamikdash, so why not allow a Levaya too? Okay, anyway.
Isn't a Levaya allowed of a Talmud Chacham?
Aisha's Chaver, Aisha's Talmud Chacham should be allowed. Yeah. Anyways, okay, so let's see. So Hechi Dami Hespeda the Rabbin. What's it considered Hespeda the Rabbin? So Machvi Rav Chisda showed Kigoin Hespeda the Koibe Rav Sheshes. Right? If
Where
Rav
are you?
Sheshes, what?
Where are you?
Third wide line down on Chav Chesam Beis. Right? So now it doesn't mean, so he pointed to Rav Sheshes. That doesn't mean that he said that, oh, by Rav Sheshes Levaya, that's going to be a thing. No. What he meant, Rashi says, is that if a person would die and Rav Sheshes would be at the Levaya, so if the Levaya is chashav enough for Rav Sheshes to be there, that means other people are going to be there too. And that means that it can be done in the Beis Hamikdash. Machi Rav Sheshes, going to say the Korban Rav Chisda. So Rav Sheshes pointed to Rav Chisda. Fun. Rafram, yeah, I don't know if this is Rafram Bar Papa or not. Right, so Rafram, Aspida Lekalosiv Beknishta. Rafram made a hesped on his daughter-in-law in the Beis Knesses. It's because of the chashivas for me and of the mace. Also, Kuliyama, everybody's coming. So since everybody's coming because it's my daughter-in-law, and so Mamela, that's considered a public hesped, and therefore everybody is allowed to come. Rav Zeira Safti Lahu Merabah, I mean, allowed to go on a shul. Rav Zeira Safti Lahu Merabah Beknishta. Rav Zeira made a hesped for a Talmud Chacham in the shul. Amar Imishum Yikr Didi. It's either because of my chashiva, since I'm the one saying the hesped, so people are going to come. Imishum Yikr Didi, the mesa, or it's because of the chashivas for the mace. Also Kulayama, so everybody's going to come. So therefore, you can make it in the Beis Hamikdash. Resh Lakish Safte Lahutzer Merabana. Resh Lakish said a hesped on a young Talmud Chacham, the Shchiach Ar Yisroel, that he constantly went to Eretz Yisrael. He learned halachas or taught halachas, meaning he was a Rebbe. Yeah, he was a Mishnayos Rebbe, the way Rashi says it, with 24 rows. Right? So 24 meaning they used to sit in rows. That's the way they learned. That's the Gemara in Sanhedrin. So Omar, Vai Chasra Ard Yisrael Gabra Rabba. He says, "Woe is to land of Eretz Yisrael that we lost such a great person who used to teach Mishnayos to 24 rows of people." Yeah. So then the Gemara brings another story. There was a Talmud Chacham who learned. It doesn't call him a Talmud Chacham actually. If you read the Gemara, it just says that he learned Hilchasa, Sifra, Sifri, and Tosefta. Right? So V'shachiv, and he died. Also, V'amrulei Rav Nachman, they came and told Rav Nachman about it. Lispedei Lemar, and then he please be masped him. Amar Hechi Naspedei. How should I say hesped on him? Hey Tzina Damali Sifra Dechasa. This is for yeshiva guys for that like to learn Be'iyah, this is the line and shas for them. What am I going to say? That is it a basket of books that got lost, right? Meaning he was a bucky. He learned Bekiyas, so he knew a lot of things. He knew Sifra, Sifri, Tosefta, but he never analyzed it properly, right? So it's kedai to read this Rashi here. He says, Einai, the Rashi shicinah mali sifri. It's like a basket full of svarim. Einai ala kesel shemileo svarim ve'ein maven mashav. He's sort of like he's a svarim shelf. That's what he is. Af shayna halachas. So somebody who learns halacha v'lei shimish talmid chacham. We had this a couple of days ago on the daf. If you just learn halachas and you're not mishamish talmid chacham, lilmay shivilu tamei Mishna, and to teach you the reasons behind the Mishnah, it's ba'amim. Shedivrei Mishna Saisvin says sometimes one Mishnah is a steer to the other Mishnah. And you have to give terutzim. We're going hacha b'mayaskinan. We're going hamani Rabbi Plinihi. We're going chesuri mechzera. Ma'ashana. Right. So if you don't learn properly Mishnayos be'in, then you then it's not. It sounds like from him that it's not the legitimate Torah. It's not the legitimate Torah. That's what it sounds like. Yeah. So, that's, the Torah seems to be for learning more be'iyah, not just the bekiyas type thing. So what does it say for Daf Yomi?
I was about to say it's a steer for Daf Yomi.
It's a steer to Daf Yomi. So the answer is that I believe the answer is it's not a steer to Daf Yomi, because first you got to at least learn the material. There's no point in learning Daf Beis and Daf Gimel like many yeshivas are up to till now when you don't know 99% of the Torah. And nor will you ever know it. So which one is better? The Gemara here is assuming that everybody's learning the Torah, the whole Torah, and then they're analyzing it. But ask any of the Gedolim whether you should better know the Torah without analyzing it or be able to analyze 1% of the Torah. They'll tell you that better know the whole Torah. That's Pashut. That's Pashut. Right? Okay, whatever. That's going to be a whole conversation here. Stay tuned to Gershon's opinion or rebuttal after the daf. Yeah. Anyways, so.
Listen, Ziago, Rav Sheshes will give you a hesped. You won't get a hesped from Nachman. Fine, Rav Sheshes will give you a hesped instead.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. You'll say you'll take that, right?
Better than nothing.
That's true. So Chazi, go and see Mabein Tkifei Dar Yisroel. What is the difference between the Talmidei Chacham from Eretz Yisroel, lechasidei de Bavel, which also interesting choice of words here. Tkifei Eretz Yisroel. And the Hasidim of Bavel. So Rish Lakish gave a hesped, and he said a good hesped, and Rav who was it? Rav Huna, no, the Rav Nachman was pretty stark, right? That he has to be. I can't say a hesped on him. Yeah, fine. Tanan Hassam, we learned over there udishtamish betaga chalaf, somebody who uses the tagin, on the Sefer Torah, it's called tagin. Sefer Torah mezuzos, it's these little crowns that they add to the letters. So a tag is a crown. Chalaf means he's going to be switched out of the world. So if you use Rashi says the Keser Torah, then you're going to leave this world. Tani Rish Lakish. So Rish Lakish says, that's if you're going to use somebody who learns halachas, and you're going to use him. Then Kisra Shel Torah, that's the crown of Torah, and you're not allowed to be nene from somebody who's a Talmud Chacham, right? Which is interesting because we just learned that Shaina halachas is not the legitimate way to learn. Shaina halachas means you just learn the halachas and that's it. You didn't learn it be'in, which was not the highest level. So even that, if you use that person to help you with things, then you're going to pass on to the next world. Bamar Ula. The shtamish inish b'man detani arba, below the shtamish b'man demasni arba. You can use a person who learned 4 of the sidarim, right? The 6 sidarim. You'll be mishtamish with somebody who learned 4, right? Which is the ones that are negeya, mayid nashim nezikin and kodshim. Right? For loy l'shtamish b'man demasni arba, but don't use somebody who teaches it, right? Meaning somebody who learns it. Maybe you can get away with benefiting from him, but somebody who teaches that you shouldn't do. Rish Lakish was traveling, and he got to some sort of body of water. Also, and somebody came and put Rish Lakish on his shoulders and carried him across the water. So Amalei, Karis, do you read? Meaning, do you read Psukim? Amalei, Karina. He says, yes, I have learned Psukim. Tanis, did you learn Mishnayos? Tanina, I learned Mishnayos. Tanina, Arba Sidrei Mishnah, I learned 4 Siddharim. Amalei, she said to him, Salta lach arba ture v'tanta bar lakish akaspech. You learned, meaning you, salta lacha means to be paisel, to cut out. You cut out for yourself four tures really means a pillar, but 4 sidarim, and you're carrying Reish Lakish on your shoulder. So shadi bar liksha l'mayit. Throw Reish Lakish into the water. I don't want to use you. You're a learned fellow. So Amalei nichali dishtamim luar. It's nichav me to do this, right, Dr. Corman? I don't know if you're on there, but this maybe is the answer to what happened today to you, right? So yachi gomer me ni hamilsos. If that's the case, if you're really pressuring me to go on the shoulder, then fine. Then let me at least teach you something. Domer of Zera, b'nai Yisroel heinech miro alatman b'nai Yisroel. Or machmer on themselves, shafilu rois tipus dam kachadol. Even if they see a drop of blood like a mustard seed, yoshvis alav shivinakiyim, they stitch shivinakiyim. So now we yotz our shovivim. We're yotz our shovivim shir with this, right? So that's basically the chumrah that when a woman sees any sort of dam, they make sure to wait shivinakiyim, not 6 nakiyim, but shivinakiyim, based on a lot of chumras.
This
right?
is teaching Torah, or this is just saying
He taught him. So he taught him this din. So now that he taught him this
it's
din,
a din or it's a mila with the din.
no, that's the way they were makabel on themselves, right? The Yidden were makabel on themselves like that, right?
It's a din, it's a halacha, it's a.
Is it a din? Yeah, I don't. It's a din. Yeah, there's a reason why women have shiva nakim nowadays is because of this.
A machmer on the side, it's a chumrah.
No, but the chumrah is but it's a chumrah that's 1,000 years old, more. So that is the halacha. Yeah. What's interesting is my grandfather's yard side. I forgot to say it to this year. Ben Moshe, I was going to make a siyum on Zoom on a Seder's Rayim. Right? That's not included in these 4. But I don't know, my mother's babysitter, whatever. So I don't know, maybe I'll make it together Thursday with the siyum on Megillah, whatever. I don't know. We'll see. But
where do you see what's included in the 4?
It's Rashi in what do you call it? It's Rashi, not here. Where's the other Gemara where this is? Menachos? Not Menachos.
Baba Metzia, Marshawn Baba Metzia, it says.
Who, the art school?
No, Menachos 110a.
No, that's something else. That's what do you call it? I think that's that you learn kodshim. It's as if you mock. Is that what it is? Is that Gemara? I don't know. I don't remember. I'll find it for you, Belina. Yeah, fine. Fine. So Tana Develio. Get kol hashayin halachas muchtala shu ben olam haba. Anybody who learns halachas, it's a haftacha that is ben olam haba. Shenemar halichas olam loy. Right, that the way the world goes is to him. Al tikri halichas, don't read going. Ella halachas, only halachas. Right. I hope that's familiar for everybody. Right. So that's so mamela. You get the halacha text, and hopefully you yaitza this. Hopefully, but according to some people, sometimes the halachas that go out are not halacha. Okay, but shine. I don't know if it has to be maskana sadvarim or whatever it is. Fine. Tana Rabbanan. Now, Peretz's favorite Gemara here. Mevatlan Talmud Torah loitzos hameis lachnosas hakala. Umevatl Talmud Torah for right. We had this in the beginning of the Masechta for levaya and for achnosas kala. Right, you have to mevatl Talmud Torah. Which interesting. Rashi says, "What's achnosas kala? L'lavsa mibeis avil lebeis chupasa." Right, so that's what we got to do now. We got to find out when the kala is leaving her house, and then everybody should go over there. That's what it sounds like.
6 hours before the wedding? 8 hours before the wedding?
I don't know. That maybe that's a heter why we don't do this anymore, because when she leaves, she's not going straight to the wedding. I imagine back then
maybe it means
didn't have
shimer.
What?
Maybe it means the shimer.
No, but it says everybody. It says everybody, right?
It says everybody. It says the love somebody based on the always goes.
No, because
a person allowed to be mevatel second seder to be a shimer for the person.
It doesn't. Where you get a shimer? Shimer is not even that's not a halacha, Zeb. That is bivadai, not a halacha, the shimer.
What is
during Sheva brachas? During Sheva brachas, it's halacha.
What's the love mibei? I
have no idea. The lav says to be malava her to the. You mean malava her to the chuppah?
Tiago, I think by the Arabs, that's what they do.
In the old days, that's the way they did it.
I think by the Arabs, they go from the girl's house straight to the wedding hall, the whole chevra.
Yeah, that's what's really supposed to be done by us. That's really what's supposed to be done by us.
Who's supposed to be Milavim the base of real the base of
Anybody, the bigger the crowd, the better, which we're about
What do
to
you
see.
mean? Everybody has to take a day off for the wedding to take everybody and walk.
Yeah,
into
that's what it sounds. Yeah. Well, yes, that's exactly
mean,
what it says. Let's see the next
city,
Gemara.
The whole city has to shut down.
Yeah. Let's see the next Gemara. But even though the next
you gotta let him talk. He's reading the Gemara, and it wasn't like today.
Let's see the next. All right, Naftali, don't worry about it. Amar Allah Rabbi Yehuda Bar Eloi, right? They said on Rabbi Yehuda Bar Eloi, Shahayu Mevatel Talmud Torah Litzos HaMeisach Nasas Kala. He said you have to be Mevatel Talmud Torah to carry out the Meisach Nasas Kala. But Medvar Murim B'Shein Sham called Sarkai. But that's only. See, Zev, this is what you're saying. That's only when there's not enough people there. But if there's a lot of people, ain't mevatel, then you're not mevatel, right? V'kama kol tzarkoi. How much is kol tzarkoi?
60,000 people, 600,000.
Okay, so we're going to go through a bunch of different options here.
I don't understand all this stuff.
Okay, so that's yeah.
Zemi, it's a good thing we're not knowing like this. Otherwise, you'd have to make the wedding in MetLife, each one of your kids.
It's a kasha. Why not? Right?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand.
Aaron Darcy can handle it. It's big enough, I think.
What?
My dinner's over. Babe.
Okay, so let's see. But Omer of Shmuel Bar Inya Mishmei the Rav Tracer Alfei Gavi 12,000 men. The Shisa Alfei Shipuri and 6,000 of them have to have shofars, because back then they used to blow shofar about people's levayas. V'amila Tracer Alfei Gavri and Minayu Shisa Alfei Shipuri. I'm sorry. The first shot is 12,000 regular and plus 6,000 shofar. That's 18. V'amila, some say no. Tracer Alfei Gavi 18,000. Second shot is 12,000. From those 12, 6,000 had a shofar. That's first sheet. Going to there's enough people that it's going to be the crowd from when you get to the edge of the city to where the cemetery is still, the crowd is still going to be coming out of the city. I don't know. It depends how big the city is, right? That would depend how big each city. That would be subjective. The same way the Torah was given, so was it taken. Just like when the Torah was given was 600,000, so too when the Torah was taken, meaning, and that's what happens, right? When somebody dies, so then you need 600,000. But this is all for somebody who learned. Right, he read Psukim and he learned. But somebody who taught other people less shiura, then there's no shir at all, right? And therefore, that's only somebody who's regular learned. So, but somebody who's a teacher, then there's no shir at all, and everybody has to go. Right? It doesn't make a difference.
No.
Right, they mamish, that was the biggest levaya ever, right?
Yeah.
At least in Eretz Yisrael.
Yeah.
So the question is, it seems like here it's referring to levaya. Do these same numbers apply to weddings? Right? I don't know. It's mashma not. Yeah. Now,
Rabbi Rosen said, I don't remember from where he brought it, but he said by a wedding there's no limit. Everybody's able to go to a wedding.
Who do you say it from?
I don't remember where he said, but he said because Barov Hadras No, but he said it. He brought it from somewhere that it says Barov Hadras also.
Oh yeah. Okay. So all right. So it's interesting. That's interesting.
Well, that's when they become a melech and a malchus.
Right. That's true. But anyway, so what did Lamaisa? How do we paskin? So we already discussed this. That it's actually Machlokes Rishonim whether mevatel Talmud Torah means you're mechuyev to be mevatel Talmud Torah, or you can, right? Meaning, if you decide you want to go to the chasana, you can, but you don't have to. Or does it mean that you have to? So the Ramah, if I remember correct, just says he doesn't say, yeah, he just says mevatel Talmud Torah. The Shach says we go with Rav Rishonim that you're mechuyev to be mevatel Torah, not that you can be, but that you're mechuyev to be mevatel Torah. which is the way we pass. And we said that already. If you're sitting, Peretz had this a couple of weeks ago. He's by the white shul, and Peretz, and he was leaving, and then there was a chuppah right outside. Mamish, there was a chuppah right outside. So he was stuck. That's what you can't leave. You certainly can't.
It wasn't just the chuppah. They were mamish walking around doing the seven. What do you call that thing?
Right, but then they had a drasha, right?
That was the problem. It was a Chabad thing, and they read the letter from the Rebbe, and they did, and they had to explain to everybody. So the shilas, is that part of the chuppah or not?
Right. So that's the question. That is the question. You have to be there for that.
After chuppah is at the sands, a big problem because all the people in bikinis start showing up. And they said they can't just walk past. They have to be there for the chuppah.
Yeah, no, it's true. It is, yeah, but you have to know. We said already that seems like the heter is that you don't know exactly when the chuppah is. Since you don't know exactly when the chuppah is, so therefore,
when are you mechuyev to leave to go to, or are you not mechuyev?
You're mechuyev if you know about it. If you mamish know when the chuppah is taking place, parshas is you have to leave.
But you know the 6:30 wedding in Lakewood, you have to pick yourself up and be mevatel second seder. I'm saying
it's a shaila has to.
Why do you have to go to? No, there has to be a limit.
Right. The chayr in your city.
You couldn't fly to Icky quicker than you could drive to Lakewood. So you'd have to fly to Chasnas in Phoenix if you think you have to go to Lakewood.
It's a shaila. It is a shaila.
When we were in Beis Hamikdash, Rav Altuski used to say, I forgot if he quoted the Rambam or whoever he quoted, that it said, the chayzer l'talmuda, that you could only go, like if you're going to end up staying so late that when you come back, you're going to end up missing, it's going to stay your next day for a Seder, then you don't have the heter or the mitzvah to go, be mismeach chasam v'kala. I'm not sure where that line is.
Okay, all right. I hear. I don't know if that's the pashut shot. I don't know if that's a pashut shot.
What's the shot where you hear these stories about like Rosh Yeshivas who don't go to chuppahs, they don't go to weddings because there's
same shot that we all have. Same kash on it. If you don't know, there is no clear heter. There's no clear heter. But still, heter is that you don't know exactly when the chuppah is taking place. So if you don't know exactly when it's taking place, then you don't have to go. This is talking about small towns. The whole town knew when there was a chuppah taking place. You heard the music, so you got to stop and you got to go. Reb Shlomo Zalman says that the more people at the chuppah, the better. So there's more simcha to the chassan and kala. So that's what. All right, I don't know. Fine. Tanya, Reb Shimon ben Yochai Yomer. Let's see how loved klal Yisroel is for Hashem. And wherever they went, the Shekhinah went with them. Galu Mitzrayim. What? Yeah, Galu Mitzrayim. Shekhinah iman. When they went out to Mitzrayim, the Shekhinah was with them. Shenemar Hanigla Niglesi Lebeis Lebeis Avicha B'Yosem Mitzrayim. Right. Galu. So that says that they went out to I went to galus with your father in when they were Mitzrayim. Galu lebabel shchina iman shenemar lemanchem shalachti babel. I've sent you to Babel, right? Meaning I sent. So that means the shchina. Even when they're going to have a gula, the shchina is going to be with them. Shenemar v'shav Hashem lekecha es shuscha. Hashem is going to return with the people that are coming back. V'heishiv lo nemer elav v'shav. It doesn't say he's going to bring back, but he's going to come back. So Melamich HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shaviman Ben Galus. It means Hashem Himself is going to come back from the galus. So Hashem is with us in galus. Okay, so Babel Hecha, where can you find the Shekhinah in Babel? So meaning in Eretz Yisrael, we know where the Shekhinah is. That's by the Harabayis, right? But where is it in Babel? Some Rabbi B'Bei Knishta the Hutzel. It's in the shul in Hutzel. B'Bei Knishta the Shaf, and it's in the base Knishta the Shaf the Yosef ben Arda. That was destroyed in, and then it was destroyed, and then they built it again in Arda. But don't say that it's in two places, right? One in Arda and one in Hutzel. Sometimes the Shekhinah is there, sometimes the Shekhinah is there. The Shekhinah moves around. Some Rabbiya,
everywhere.
It's I don't know. You're right. I don't know what to do with that. Is it everywhere in galus, or
what do you mean? The Rabban Shem's only in certain places?
The Shechina, it seems like the Shechina is only in certain places. What? I mean, it's well, that's Hashem. Hashem is everywhere.
The Shechin is a certain aspect of Hashem, whatever that means. I don't know what that means. The certain aspect of Hashem.
Yeah.
I'm saying you can ask the same kasha on when the Shechina rested in Beis Hamikdash. It's not any different.
When you have 10, when you have 10 people, the Shechina comes. So it could be there, it could be there. I'm saying.
Yeah, listen, and a couple is also the Shechina's B'nayim. So, but I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know. So I'm just trying to make sure that the Shechina hangs out near me, but I don't know if I'm being too successful. I'm trying. That's what I'm working on. I don't know. Yeah, I can't figure out the rest of it. So basically, it's coming to me. The Chimar Chikna Parsa. When I'm a parsa away from these shuls, I go there to daven. Right? So because the Shechina's there, was this a makar to go daven by the kaisel? Right? When you're within a parsa, he says, when I'm within a parsa, right? A parsa is 4 mil, right? Which is about four tchums. Yeah.
Where Rabbi Yashiv, he lived right near there.
He was not 8,000 amos. He was closer. He was closer than that, right? So, but this sounds like there's some sort of inyan to go to where the Shechina is. Fine. Amud the Shmuel. The Levi have a Yasbi Knishan the Shafa Yasab in Adar. They were sitting in this place of Knesset that was destroyed and rebuilt in Adar. Asi Shechina, the Shechina came. Shamu called Rigsha, come over enough. So they heard something going on. They realized it was the Shechina coming, so they left the shul. He was sitting in this place of Knesset in Adar. Asi Shechina, but Rav Sheshes didn't leave. Also, Malachi Yesharis become a vasulate. So the Malachi Yesharis came and they tried to scare him. So Rav Sheshes said, if you have somebody who's like not beat up, whatever, he has problems, and somebody who doesn't have problems. So Rashi says because he's many problems because he was blind. Yeah. So who gets pushed from who? So then when Rav Sheshes told that to Hashem, so then Hashem told the Malachim, Shavku, leave him alone. Okay, whatever that story means. Then the pasuk says, right? So we know that we call the Beis Hamikdash, we call the shul, yeshiva is a mikdash ma'at, a small Beis Hamikdash. Right? So he says, I'm going to be for them with a mikdash ma'at. A mikdash ma'at is the shuls that are in Bavel. That's the house of Rabbeinu. Who's Rabbeinu? Rav in Bavel, because that's where all the Torah from Bavel was coming from. Torah Shabbat. Ma'adiv Hashem ma'ayin atah yisalanu. You've been placed for us to be. That's the shuls. Fine. Amar Abaye. Mereish have a grasina bebeisa matzalina bebeknishta. I used to learn at home and daven in shul. Kivan the shamas lahadamar David. Since I heard what David said in Hashem ahavti ma'ayin beisecha. Hashem, I love the ma'ayin, the house that you made for us. Who have a grasina bebeknishta. I started to learn in the shul because Hashem wants us to learn in shul too, not just at home. Right? That's an anti-Zoom right there. Okay, so now we hit Daf Yomi Aaron and we hit Zoom in one daf. Okay, fine. Tanya Rebbe Lazar Kfar Oimer, Asidin Batik Nasiz Batik Majasha Shabavu Shekavu Eretz Yisroel. The shuls that are in Bavel are going to end up being set up in Eretz Yisroel. Shenemar Ki Kasavar Baharim Karmel Bayam Yavai. Right, Tavar is going to be in the mountains like Hara Carmel, and then Paroi is going to go into Zizanyana de Yoma, right? But it's the wrong Paroi, but at least it's something close enough, right? Paroi is going to go into the water. Right?
Isn't this Rebbe Lazar against what we learned yesterday? The Tanai to build the Beis Hamikdash in Bavel. Yeah.
Yes.
And this is a brisa. This is the Talmud.
It's really Toisvis. It's really Toisvis that's shver from this Gemara, I think. Right? There's a way you have to see how to learn the Toisvis. Yeah. That was bothering me, but It was bothering me. That's it. It didn't do. I'm a shicinah halachas. I'm not like you. I'm not a falpel. So, okay.
Yeah, is this the raya? The shitas that hold that us love it's going to be regular times. How do they explain these gemaras?
What do you mean?
That they're somehow miraculously things are going to be moved. But the exteriors are going to be moved. If everything's going to be beteva, how is this going to work?
I mean, according to the shitas that hold that when Mashiach comes, everything's.
Why can't it work beteva? What's the problem? If you're saying it's beteva, so why you so this will be beteva, no?
Similar to how mountains move beteva.
Oh,
the Gemara is bringing
building is not
from mountains.
What?
The Gemara is bringing kal v'chomer from mountains. So dire.
Right. Okay. Well, that's the next Gemara. I don't know. I don't know what that means. I have no idea. I don't know. Like I said, I'm trying to understand this world, not the next. Forget the Mashiach's times. You got it. Yeah. Those are mountains. Tavar and Carmel. They came to Eretz Yisroel temporarily to learn Torah. Right. Now, exactly what does that mean? The mountains are coming to learn Torah, but Nikvaim Eretz Yisrael. So they were kavu in Eretz Yisrael. So Batik Nesiza, Batik Mijosh, Shekolim, Abitzim Ben Torah, Alachas Kama V'Kama. Right, shuls that are constantly in learning this Torah, constantly going on Alachas Kama V'Kama, that they're going to go to Eretz Yisrael. Okay, so then the Gemara discusses this with the mountains. So Darash Parkapara, my Dechsiv Lama Teratzton Harim Gavnunim. Why are you Teratzton means why are you jumping? Harim Gavnunim. These big mountains. Yatz is a baskal. Meaning this is talking about by Kabbalah Torah. So as every kid knows, Har Sinai was the smallest mountain. Right? Har Sinai was the smallest mountain, and the bigger mountain said, the Torah, we're the biggest, the Torah should be given on us. So Hashem said, Har Sinai, which is the most humble, is going to get it. So that's what this pasuk and Tillim is saying. So why are you jumping? Yatz is a baskal v'ambalahem lama tartzu din im Sinai. Why are you trying to go to din with Har Sinai? Right? Why are you starting up with Har Sinai? Yeah. Kulchem bali mumin atem etzel Sinai. You guys are all considered bali mumin as compared to Har Sinai. How do you know? Because it says here gavnunim, which means like high mountains. Ksiv hasam ay giben ay dak. Somebody who a giben is somebody who has big eyelashes, or somebody has something else. That dak is like I don't know, something wrong in the eye. Right, that's so gibein and gavnunim. Amar Rashi Shmam. You know, Haiman Diyar Bal Mumhu. Somebody who's a Bal Gaiva is a Bal Mum. So since these mountains had Gaiva, so they're considered a Bal Mum, and therefore they cannot have the Torah given on them. Okay, I say kapan. Now in yeshivish language you say kapandria, right? But the art scroll, and I remember Rabbi Kleinkalven, because Rabbi Kleinkalven has him and Rabbi Perry used my mother's yard as they call it the kapandria, right? Because they cut through, so they don't have to walk all the way around the block. They go from their houses to Shifa. But Rabbi Klein started calling it how do you say it? A kapandaria. A kapandaria, right? Kapandaria. So that's when I started thinking, okay, maybe we're saying it wrong. But Rabbi Klein, sometimes when he wanted his grass to grow, he would lock the gate and he would write, the kapandaria is closed. Right? So he had to be educated to figure out what he was talking about. But anyways, yeah. So now, Beretz Taka, now that you have a shul, them cutting through the yard, maybe they're cutting through a shul, right? Till you started your shul over there, I don't know. Maybe it wasn't.
Well, actually, you started during COVID in the outside. That was Taka Shul, the backyard. That would be a real bigger problem.
Yeah, fair enough. But there's the thing that the Gemara is going to say that if the shortcut went through before the shul, I didn't think about it. It's mamash just Gemara. If the shortcut was there first, then the shul has no right to kick away the shortcut. Okay, so let's see. My kapandaria. So Amarava kapandaria kishma. It's like its name. My kishma. What does it mean like its name? That's called aramarapia. Right? Yeah. I can actually remember something from English. Yeah. Command Omar ademikifna adari. Right? If actually, why should it go around all these row of houses? I'll just cut through. Right? So Amar Abavo. If there was a road going through the shul area before they built the shul first, then you're still allowed to cut through. If somebody goes into shul not to make it as a shortcut, then you could make it a kavandaria, right? So, meaning if you go into Beis Medrash, this happens
Yaakov,
in
that's the actual shul itself, not like the.
Yes, it's the actual Beis Medrash, not the hallway.
So
Right?
I'm allowed to cut through like a shifarakwe. If you would cut through one side to the other, you could do
Right.
that.
Yeah, what do you mean? So you cut through your shul? You're saying?
No, I'm talking about if I want to cut through the white shul to Sage Street. To go
as long as you're not
side.
going through, as long as you're not going through the Beis Medrash, yeah. Yeah, but again, I don't know what this means, because didn't we say yesterday that the heter to talk in shul and to have a kiddush in shul is that they don't have kedusha? So if they don't have kedusha, why can't you cut through? Unless there's two dinim, which I'm not sure about. Right? Fine. Somebody goes in the shul to daven, he's allowed to make a shortcut. When you're leaving, meaning you don't have to go the same way. I'm sorry, when you go into the Beis Hamikdash, you would come in the north side and you would end up going out in the south side. So you see that you don't have to go out the same gate. It ends up being faster for you to go in one and go in the other. Taka, that's we just learned on the mezuzah, right? Go in one door, go out the other door. And it was mezuzah, the shir before this. We were talking about if you have a doorway that you go in one and you only go out the other, that doesn't need a mezuzah. Right? So, okay. Fine. If the grass grows in the shul that's been destroyed, so you're not supposed to cut the grass, so you should see it so that you feel bad. We said you're not allowed to cut the grass and feed it to animals, but you're allowed to cut the grass and just leave the grass there. So it's a stira. Are you allowed to tear the grass or not? It's talking about where you uproot it and you feed the animals, but otherwise you're allowed to. Based on kvaris, right, in the cemetery, ain't no galus rosh, there's no galus rosh, ain't marin ben behema, you can't let animals graze there. There's an interesting thesis on this, we'll get back to it. And you can't run water through it. I can't imagine that would make the water too healthy. And you can't pick grass in them either. If you do pick the grass, then you should burn it in the place and make covered mason because of covered mason. So now what's this going on for covered mason? If it's going on the safer that you burn the grass, even my covered mason, if you burn the grass in the makam, what kind of covered mason is Ella Aresha? It must be going on the ratio that you should not have any litzanas in the Beis Hakvaros because of covered for the mason. That is one thing I meant to look into and I totally forgot. Some people have a minute to tear the grass and throw it over their shoulder when they leave a Beis Hakvaros. Anybody ever see that? Right? So l'chayra, you're not supposed to do that. Here, the Gemara said, don't do it, unless you say that it also means by Beis Hakvaros that you shouldn't do it and feed it to your animals. But here, the Gemara seems to say not to do this. Right? That's one. Now, main marin ben behema, you can't let animals graze in the cemetery. Now, why not? So the second thesis from the bottom says because of the cover of the mason. But so what about planting trees? He says planting trees in a cemetery is allowed, and that's not because of korbanos mason, meaning it's not a bizayin, because you're not putting the trees directly on top of the grave, right? You're what do you call it? You're growing the trees there, but they're not directly on top of the grave. So okay, so that's I think that's where you get from that you stepping on top of a grave, right? I think, right? So that's
do we really come out?
Design.
Does the halacha really come out? We don't tear the grass and throw it.
I don't know. I meant to look into it, and I totally
was working a security detail by the Ohel a while ago, and it was all of their big guys from around the world, like the chief Chabad dudes from everywhere, and they all did it. So
okay, they must have a minute to do it, but I don't know. I have to look into it. And see. see what the story is with that. Okay.
This
fine.
Tosfos sounds like that it's all b'diavad. That's better not to plant things. It's okay that they do it. The lashon that he uses is very
The
b'diavad.
lashon, it says, so yeah, the trees that were planted there, right? Yeah.
What about the
I hear you.
roots? If roots go into the farm, how is that covered?
Enochanami. I don't know. Maybe it's not. How far away do you have to be? Don't know. Okay, so the Mishna. Now we get into the Dalit parshiyos. It's going to be today's daf and tomorrow's daf. Bez Hashem, it's a shtickle dry. It's not nearly as geschmack. I don't know if anybody's finding geschmack at the last few blot, but it's much drier, much drier than yeah. Sorry about that, but that's the. But that's no, I'm saying it's gonna be whatever it is. Okay, so Rosh Chodesh Adar. Now let's just a hakdama, right? There's Dalit parshiyos. Parshas Zachar. I hope I get this right now. I have to remember from elementary, right?
Shekolim.
Zachar. This Shekolim. I'm sorry. Good. Shekolim. Thank you. Zachar, Para, and Chodesh. Right. Those are the 4 parshiyos. So we're going to discuss when you read them, and they're not 4 weeks in a row. There's always at least 1 break, sometimes 2. I don't think there's ever 3. I don't know. Okay. So, anyways, if it wouldn't be,
Jacob, I posted two calendar pictures. Is very clear.
Understand? Oh yeah. Okay. Good. Okay. So thank you. Okay. So let's see. So Rosh Chodesh Adar Shechalias b'Shabbos. If Rosh Chodesh Adar falls on Shabbos, Karim b'Parshas Shekolim, you read Parshas Shekolim, right? Chalias b'Soicha Shabbos. If it falls out during the week, meaning Rosh Chodesh, Makdim l'Shavar, you say Parshas Shekolim in the Shabbos before. Mafsikin l'Shabbos acheres, and then the next Shabbos you have a break because you always want Parshas Zachar to be right before Purim. B'Shniya, the second parshas Zachar, b'Shlish is Para Aduma, and because that's everybody had to become pure and tahar for Pesach. And b'Revius Hachodesh Hazel Lachem. B'Chamishis Chayzun L'Ksinon. And the 5th week you go back to the regular order of the parshiyos. Now we're going to see, like we all just assume, yeah, it's the maftir, but we're going to see on Amud Beis that there are shitas that say no, you don't read that week's parsha at all. Which I think the island would vote for that. I mean, imagine a parsha of 20 psukim instead of 100 something psukim.
On the Balkara.
That's right.
But then you're gonna have another double parsha at some point, right?
That's true. That is true. Yeah.
But see, how do you get the right amount of psukim then for 7 aliyahs?
You'd have to repeat. You'd have to go over. I think. I think so.
So if that's the case, do they do Zachar again with the Zecher?
Then they don't have to do it. Then they could do a zecher with the reish. They could do all sorts of stuff, parents, right?
Didn't we say a few days ago with Daf Torah has to be 3 psukim per aliyah or something? 21 psukim on Shabbos.
Yes.
This week's Daf Torah didn't have 21 psukim. At 16.
Daf
Torah.
Daf Torah needed to have 21.
We have to have 3 per aliyah. That's why
this week's parsha.
We reread it on Rosh Chodesh.
Right.
This week's parsha had 16 psukim.
This coming week or last week?
This past week, I looked.
So is that?
You looked
is
the
that
last
the
week.
one
I looked
that
this week.
Is that the one that
Now, Tully, you paid attention. I like that.
It's very good. It's very impressive. It was that the one the Gemara asked from one parsha. I don't remember which parsha it was that it doesn't have.
The half Torah has to have 21 psukim.
That's what we said last week.
That was a few days ago stuff.
My bar mitzvah parsha didn't have 10. It had like 10 psukim in the half Torah.
Oh yeah, you got away easy then. Okay.
Yeah, I did.
That's only if you're Svard. That's only if you're Svard and you end over here, and then
Yeah, parshas Vayechi. It's a small parsha and a small half Torah.
Okay, so I don't know which. I mean, it could be things changed once we no longer have to really read after Torah. We're just doing it on minig. I know there's episode shita like that. Anyways, l'chol mafsikin. We stop the regular laining, meaning the weekday laining, b'Rosh Chodesh, b'Chanukah, b'Purim, b'Tinius, b'Mamadas, b'Yom Kippurim, right? Meaning if Rosh Chodesh falls out on a Monday or a Thursday, so you don't like it did last week, so you lane Rosh Chodesh, you don't lane the regular laining, saying Chanukah, Purim, Tinius, Mamadas, and Yom Kippur. What's Yom Kippur? Yom Kippur, of course, it's a Yom Tiv. So Rashi says, Tosfos says, so that's referring to Mincha on Yom Kippur. That falls out on a Shabbos, right? So there you don't do. There you you push away the regular Shabbos laining and you go with the Yom Kippur laining. Fine. Zog the Gemara. Tanan Hasan. So on the first of Adar, they let everybody know that they're going to have to be paying the machzis shekel. Right? Doesn't happen. It says mashmian ala shkolim, not on the machzis shekel. Right? Okay, whatever. That's a kasha. Fine. On Talmud Beis, vala klayim, and you also let people know about klayim. Klayim is that when you have fruits and vegetables that are grown, how do you call it? Crossbred. So bishlam ala klayim. So we understand why you're announcing klayim at that time. This manzrihu, that's the plant, that's the time of planting. El ala shkolim minolim, but what about, how do you know shkolim? I mean, not how, why are you talking about shkolim then? So Amud Tavi, Amud Yashia, now this is going to come up a lot in the bottom of the Amud, so we have to know this. Amud Tavi, Amud Yashia, the Amar Kras Zais Oilas Chodesh B'Chadshay. This is the oil of the Chodesh when it became a Chodesh. Amr Torah Chadesh V'Avei Karban Mitzuma Chadashim. When there's a new month, then you bring the new korbanos from the new money. Right? So it doesn't say which month, but we're saying that it's referring to Nissan. Right? We had this in Gemara Rosh Hashanah, that this is talking about a Nissan. Nissan's when you start paying for the new korbanos with the new money. So since it's Nissan, the Nissan Baya Kruve, Mitruma Chadasha, since the Nissan, you need to bring it from Truma Chadasha, Kanminan, Karina Ba'adar, we read parshas Shekolim, the first of Adar, the leisu Shekolim Lemikdash, that everybody should know. Oh, we're reading parshas Shekolim. Now we have a month to bring all the Shekolim to the Beis Hamikdash. Kiman, who's that like? The like of Shimon Gamliel. It's not like Shimon Gamliel. The of Shimon Gamliel, Hamar Shtei Shabbosos. Shimon literally holds you only need 2 weeks of preparation. The Tanya, Shailim Hilchos HaPesach, and Pesach Shloshim Yom. Right, so way back from Sachim. We said that we darshan Hilchos Pesach for 30 days before Pesach. Shimon Gamliel, Mishtei Shabbos, is only 2 weeks. So why do you need a month to prepare the Shekolim? According to Shimon Gamliel, you only need 2 weeks. So it must be that this Mishna is not like Shimon Gamliel. So one answers, no, if you look at Shimon Gamliel, you could even say it's Shimon Gamliel. Kiman Damar Marba, Chamisha Asabay, Shulchanis Yoshim Medina on the 15th, right, which is really the Shushan Purim. That's when Shulchanis literally means tables, but it means the money changers put out their tables and they go into the Medina to start helping people redeem their shekels. So b'chaf hey Yishroel Mikdash, and the 25th from Chaf hey Adar, they go into the Beis Hamikdash. Mishum Shulchanos Kadmina v'Karina. So then, because of the Shulchanos, that's why you go 2 weeks early and you read the parsha of Shekolim for their sake. Fine. So that's my parsha Shekolim. What is the parsha of Shekolim? What parsha do we read by Shekolim? So Rav Amar Tzav b'nei Yisroel v'marata lihem es karbani lachmi. That is the laining of Rosh Chodesh. So you read it for Rosh Chodesh laining. Shmuel Amar Kisisa, which is what Lamaisa we pass when we read the parsha of Shekolim and Kisisa. So the Gemara is going to go back and forth and ask a lot of questions on both of these opinions. So Bishlam Amar Kisisa, Hainu Dekari le parsha Shekolim. It's in Kisisa. That's why we call it Parsha Shekolim. The Sibba Shekolim, because the Parsha of Kisisa talks about giving Shekolim. Elaman Domer is Karbani Lachmi, but according to the Mandomer, it says that it's my korbanos. What does that have to do with Shekolim? Hachimidi Shekolim Ksive Hasam. Does it say the word Shekolim there? So our answer is in time of I could Rav Tavi. Yes, it's like Rav Tavi, which we just learned on the top of the Amud, that the reason why you're bringing the Shekolim is to pay for the new korbanos. So you see that the Shekolim is directly involved with bringing korbanos, so that's why you bring the we read the psukim as karbani lachmi. Okay, so Yisroel korbanos hasam, because it says korbanos there to the Rav Tavi, so that's why we read as karbani lachmi, right? That's why we read the Tzavas b'nei Yisroel. Lamandam kisisa, but the mandam says kisisa korbanos miksivi. Does it say anything about korbanos there? Shkolim la'adanim. It says you have to give shkolim for the adanim. Adanim are the basis for the wall of the Mishkan that they needed to be paid for. So that sounds like Kisisa does not fit with Rab Tavi's explanation that it's there to pay korbanos. So when I answer not going to Rab Yosef, Shalosh Trumas Hain, there were 3 different trumas, right? That's why we give 3 machzis hashekel before Purim, right? For each one of the times it says truma in the pasuk. Shal mizbeach lemizbeach. You give money for the mizbeach, for the upkeep of the mizbeach, for shal adonim la adonim, and then for the bottoms of the walls of the Mishkan for Adon V'Shal Bedek Habayis, and for what do you call it? Bedek Habayis for maintenance is for Bedek Habayis. So you see that it says Truma 3 times, and one of them is for the Mizbeach for korbanos. Fine. Next kasha. It's good according to Ma'adam. It says that it's kisisa Hanu Deshani Hai Rosh Chodesh Mishar Rosh Chodesh. So that's how this Rosh Chodesh is different than any other Rosh Chodesh. Meaning when Shabbos falls out, Shabbos Rosh Chodesh falls out on Adar. I'm sorry. When Rosh Chodesh Adar falls out on Shabbos, so what are you laining? So if you lane Tzavas B'nai Yisroel, that's the same laining as Rosh Chodesh, and there's nothing special about that Shabbos. But if you lane Kisisa, then it's still something special about that Shabbos. Again, that's when we differentiate between this Rosh Chodesh and other Rosh Chodesh. Again, that Rosh Chodesh of Adar, you're going to read parshas Kisisa instead of in parshas Pinchas. Elamandam Tzavas B'nai Yisroel is Korban Lachmi. Tzavas, yeah. My shani. What's the difference between any Rosh Chodesh? You read that same laining every Rosh Chodesh. So shani, the one answer is different. Rosh Chodesh. Right here, you say 6. You call up 6 people to the Torah, right? And then say 6 people read the regular parsha, and 1 reads Rosh Chodesh. And nowadays, when Rosh Chodesh falls on Shabbos, Kulu b'd Rosh Chodesh, everybody reads just Rosh Chodesh, right? That's what we're saying. We don't read the regular laining; we just have Rosh Chodesh, right? So Gemara says, let's say the parshiyos. So this is going to be on tomorrow's daf, that there's a Machlokes by the Dalit parshiyos. Do we stop laining all the parshiyos? Right? We just mentioned it before, or do we just stop laining? We lane the regular parsha, and we just do a different haftarah, which is the way we do it. But it's a Machlokes. Let's say the parshiyos that you go back to the regular parshiyos. So then that makes sense that you're going to just read the parsha of Rosh Chodesh and that's it. Let's say that haftarah you go back to the Seder Haftarah, meaning the regular Shabbos laning, the regular Shabbos parsha goes. So then parshas of the Yom Karinan, and you read the regular parsha of the week, my shani. So then why was Rosh Chodesh any different? So when I answer shani dila Rosh Chodeshim karoshisa v'yana diyama, that's the way you split the aliyahs. That's a regular Rosh Chodesh. You would read 6 from that week's parsha. The chad kari Rosh Chodesh. But now, when Rosh Chodesh Adar is on Shabbos, karu tlasa v'yana diyama, 3, you split the whole parsha, the regular week's parsha, with 3 people. The arba karu b'd Rosh Chodesh, and then 4 read the laining of Rosh Chodesh, which is what they do on a regular Rosh Chodesh. So then that's what it's saying. It's split differently. Okay, so Meisvei.
Yeah, this is not such a chiddush. Shabbos Rosh Chodesh Hanukkah is harder.
Yeah, so Agamar is about to discuss that. You're right.
Does that mean if Rosh Chodesh falls out on Shabbos, you don't have to read the parsha actually?
According to one shita, yes, would be pretty good, Curly,
Why
right?
don't we hold of that shita?
You like that shita, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I don't know why we don't.
Now the 2 of them will volunteer to lane that week.
Yes, that is. Yeah, but you see, but like David Spira said, you're gonna get nailed. They're gonna make a double parsha instead, so you're not gonna gain anything. Right? Fine. Okay, so Meisvei.
Make sure to sleep extra.
Okay, that's true. But you'll lose your sleep the other time, the other week. So either way you're gonna get.
I'll gain at least.
Okay, temporarily. Fair enough. Okay, so Meisvei Rosh Chodesh Adar Shvaliyas b'Shabbos. When Rosh Chodesh Adar falls in on Shabbos, Karim b'Parsha Shekolim, you read Parsha Shekolim, u'maftirin b'Yehoyada HaKohen, and you have the maftir of Yehoyada HaKohen. Right? So Bishlam Lamandam Kisisa. So according to Mandam, it says Kisisa. Haina the Maftina B'Yada HaKohen. That's why you say Yada HaKohen, because it's a similar haftarah. The dummy like the siv kesef nefashis erka, the kesef of the nefashis, the worth of their nefesh. Elamanda Amar es karbani lachmi, but the one that says that you just read karbani lachmi, it's interesting because the Gemara every time it quotes the pasuk of Tzav, it says different words. Before it was Tzavis B'nai Yisroel, then it was Tzavis Korbani. Now it says Korbani Lachmi. I don't know why the Gemara keeps changing. It's confusing, but it keeps referring to the parshas Pinchas, the regular Rosh Chodesh laining. Elamandamar is Korbani Lachmi Midami. Is it similar to Rav Torah? So we say no. Dami Kedur Rav Tavi. It is Dami. It is similar like Rav Tavi, right? Because you're giving the half shekel for korbanos. Fine. Meisvei Chalias b'parshas Asmuchala. If Rosh Chodesh Adar falls out on Shabbos, which is next to the parsha that it's normally next to, whether Shabbos comes before or after, you read it, the and you repeat the meaning. So it ends up being you end up repeating two parshiyos in a row. If the regular parsha falls out around parsha Shekolim, you end up reading both of them. So Kisisa. So we know that Kisisa falls out around Purim time, not this year, but in a normal year. That can happen, right? The Shekolim, the regular parsha of Shekolim, which is Kisisa, can be laying near the parsha of when you're supposed to be reading Shekolim. Can that ever fall out? Parshas Pinchas. Parshas Pinchas is laying in the summer. Can Parshas Pinchas ever fall out a week or 2 weeks? 2 weeks before Adar. So when it says in the Bnei Marava, it could be for the people of Eretz Yisrael, the maskila deraisa, the tlashnin, right? This is the source for that they used to take 3 years to go through the whole Torah, not 1 year like we do, right? And they used to take 3 years. So for them, Parshas Pinchas could have fallen out around Purim time. Fine. Tani Kavzi the Shmuel, Rosh Chodesh Adar Shekolim b'Shabbos. Rosh Chodesh Adar falls on Shabbos. Current Kisisa Maftirin b'Yoda Kohen. So we have a brayso that says beferish that it's Parshas Kisisa, not Tzav, not Tzavis B'nai Yisroel, which is Pinchas. Okay. Omer Rav Yitzchak Nafcha Rosh Chodesh Adar Shekolim b'Shabbos. So Rosh Chodesh Adar falls out on Shabbos. Let's see in Shalish Torahs. You bring out 3 Sefer Torah b'Karim and you read them. Echad bin Yonah Shal Yom. One is the in Yonah Shal Yom, meaning the regular parsha. Echad b'Shal Rosh Chodesh, and one for Rosh Chodesh. Echad b'Kisisa, one in Kisisa. V'Amar Rav Yitzchak Nafcha Rosh Chodesh Teves Shekolim b'Shabbos. Right, Mevi and Shalish Torahs. Right, Rosh Chodesh Teves is Shabbos Chanukah. That's also Rosh Chodesh. Then also 3 Torahs. Those are the 2 times you can bring out 3 Sefer Torah. B'Karim ben Echad bin Yonah Shal Yom, Echad b'Rosh Chodesh, Echad b'Chanukah. Okay, so what's the chiddush with tzricha? And you need to say both. By that case, as we've said, maybe on Rosh Chodesh Adar he goes like Rav. Damar Pasha Shekolim is Korbani Lachmi, which is the Rosh Chodesh laining, and then all you need is 2 Torahs. The Mishnah Torah Sadi. So you would think maybe there you'd hold like Rav. Kamashmalan, that we don't hold like Rav. So it says so now, okay, say the Rosh Chodesh Adar, and then you don't have to talk about Rosh Chodesh Tevis. So you say Chadam Klal Chaverta Itmar. It's one that you learn out from the other one, right? Yeah, let's just do a few more lines. Itmar Rosh Chodesh Tevis Shecholi is Bechol. Rosh Chodesh Tevis falls out on a weekday, right? Meaning Chanukah. That's Rosh Chodesh Chanukah. So how do you split the laining? Amar Rav Yitzchak. Karol Tzlasa Rosh Chodesh. You read 3 from Rosh Chodesh. V'chad b'Chanukah and 1 reads Chanukah. For Avdimi de Min Chayfa Amar Karol Tzlasa b'Chanukah. 3 read Chanukah and 1 reads Rosh Chodesh. We pass on like the first way. At the 3 read Rosh Chodesh. You know how I know? Because I laned on Rosh Chodesh Tevis of Chanukah back in the days when Shayashav allowed you to lane bar mitzvah boys. Maybe I was part of the reason why they stopped it. Could be either way. But that's a Machlokes. So Amar Ramani. So Ramani said, Kavasei. The Rav Yitzchak Nafcha Mistaver. It's more Mistaver like Rav Yitzchak Nafcha. The Tader Shena Tader Kodim. Right, Rosh Chodesh is more common than Chanukah, so you should go with 3 aliyahs for Rosh Chodesh. Amar Rav Amin Kav say the Rav Dimi Mistaver. Rav Dimi was more Mistaver. Mi Garm LeRavi Sheyavai. What made the 4th aliyah? Rosh Chodesh. Rosh Chodesh at Hilkach Ravi for Rosh Chodesh by Mikri. So therefore, the 4th aliyah should be Rosh Chodesh, because the only reason why normally in Chanukah you have 3 aliyahs. Rosh Chodesh, you have a 4th aliyah, so the 4th aliyah should be covered the Rosh Chodesh. My Havila, how do we paskin? Rabbi Yosef Amar ein mashkichim Rosh Chodesh. We don't listen to Rosh Chodesh. So the main thing is Chanukah, right? And Rosh Chodesh, so means you lay in Chanukah first and then Rosh Chodesh. Rabba Omar, Ein Mashkichem b'Chanukah, we don't look at Chanukah. Ve'ilchasa, Ein Mashkichem b'Chanukah. Rosh Chodesh Iker, we're not worried about Chanukah. And we made Rosh Chodesh the Iker, so 3 aliyahs of Rosh Chodesh and then 1 of Chanukah. Okay, I'm sorry for the long dafim. And okay, I hope it was understandable. We didn't go too fast.
Yaakov, if I'm not mistaken, the first person that Charyoshev shut down the laining was Aaron Kaplan's brother-in-law,
Mendy, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's funny because somebody told me like, oh, it's so not right what the Rebbe did to the kids. They practiced, they were prepared, and they must have been devastated. Yeah, ask Mendy how devastated he was. Said he was never that happy in his life.
Who set the rules then? Now? Isn't that Charlie?
The what?
Who set the rules?
Who set him?
Yeah.
What do you think? No, this is Shlomo was still alive, right? Yeah.
Shlomo, Mendy said he was so happy, you have no idea. Couldn't have made him happier. So for all the child psychologists out there, yeah, no kid really wants to lane.
No.
Yeah. Anyways.
It happens to me. It was a Chaim Berlin minute now, and now Reb Aaron was just Iker this past year because with all the alumni minyanim that they have around town, he started allowing it because he says otherwise we're not going to have any Balei Kar in a few years.
Serious?
Yep.
Interesting. You got to be impressed with that Chaim Berlin, man. They know how to adjust. They made these alumni minyanim.
Hello, it's a game changer for Flatbush. They have 5 alumni minyanim all over the place.
That's right. Certain places in Farakwe couldn't figure out to do that.
And they lost out from it big time.
They sure did.
We tried it, right, Chico? We tried it. We have one Shabbos.
Correct.
You need a one to go to the original place in order to set up an alumni minion.
What do you say?
You need a want to be by the source in order to have an alumni minion be a set.
Oh, Akiva, look at you, Akiva.
If you don't want the source, why would you have to
Stop
be...
recording.
I hear you. Anyways, all right. I'm gonna get back to Farak.
This is the alumni minion.
Talk about galus. I've been in Bayswater for almost 2 hours now.
Check your IQ level, baby.
Jacob, where are you?
In the shul in Bayswater. In shul in Bayswater.
A shul in Bayswater that has.
Don't worry. If I had all this wine, Curly, I would certainly share it with you guys.
Actually, I would be doing the Daf live.
Yeah.
You think you would at least.
But laying down, parents. You'd be laying down, that's for sure.
Yeah. Anyways, all right.
Good night, everybody.
Good night,
Yaakov, can I call you quickly?
I had other phone calls lined up, but is it quick?
I hope so, yeah. You're probably going to tell me to go somewhere else, so yeah.
Okay, yeah, fine.
He knows you well.
It's WhatsApp. I'm calling WhatsApp.